I'm in Kathmandu. I arrived yesterday afternoon. This is the little guest house where I'm working. Where I'm living. It's not bad. It's a little room with a little bath. As you can see, it's called Karki Guest House. It's now about 8:30 in the morning. I'm going out to the Pumpernickel restaurant that Harold told me about. I'm going to look for it. It's supposed to be right in the area. And that's where we had decided we would meet. So we would check there every morning. Okay, Harold, you're on the air.
All right, here I am again. And it was great to meet somebody in Nepal that I know. And we're going to have a great trip, and we're going to try to shoot some great pictures. And we're now in Durbar Square, where there's a lot of temples and shrines for all the gods. And this is one of the big ones. See it here? I don't know the name of it, but it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, well, Harold forgot to mention that we got a big surprise this morning. At 9 o'clock, I went over to the Pumpernickel restaurant where he said that we would meet. And I really didn't expect to see him for another couple of days. But lo and behold, who comes up to me and gives me a big hug? Harold. It was great seeing him, and it was a great surprise. And we had a nice breakfast together. Then we arranged the trekking permits and everything we need for the trip.
The day after tomorrow, we're going trekking.
And now we rented 2 bicycles and we're riding around the city. Great, great fun. This is the square and lots of people walking around. And you can even see a boy riding a bike if you watch long enough. There he is. This is still Durbar Square, and that's a holy man. And he's seen me take his picture, so of course he's putting on a show for me. There are lots of temples around here, as you can see. Many, many temples. Here's a very beautiful. I was talking to a holy man who blessed him and put a red spot on his head, and also on mine.
So this happy festival? Is everybody happy festival? So this for Shiva?
Oh, yes, yes. One Virginia.
Why not have it for...
Those are giant drums up in that temple. Guess they come out and beat them every once in a while on a holiday. You can talk. Go.
This is a shrine for one of their gods, it's Ganesh. the trunk. In the morning they say a prayer and they give the gods some flowers and some food, and they make a dot on their forehead from the red dust that's in the shrine.
This is another part of the square. Lots and lots of temples. Lots and lots of people. I think I forgot to tell you earlier that this is the start of a holiday season for them. There is one of the lesser gods who just jumped up in the air. It's one of their funnier looking ones. Yes, he makes lots of funny faces. People come and pray to him occasionally and sing bula bula.
The dragons there, you see they're to guard the temple. They always have dragon. Dragon is a symbol of strength.
Here's the dragon that Harold's talking about. Why does it lose focus? There you go. Just off to my right, it's this big white structure. And this lesser god next to me says it's called the White House. I don't think it's the same White House that President Bush lived in, but it is a sort of a White House. Actually very pretty. This is where the Kumari lives, which is a young girl before the age of puberty. And she represents all the good and innocent things in society. You're not allowed to take her picture. She comes out once in a while, sticks her head out one of these windows. You never know which window. This is an inner courtyard of a small place. It's very beautiful. All this wood around is carved very intricately. What?
You're gonna step out any minute.
Very intricate carving. Here's I zoomed in on the wood carvings.
This is where they put the blessings here on this tray here. They can donate money, and I guess when the donation's large enough, the Kumari steps out. My man just put some money in a minute.
I was just saying that you put donations on this tray, and she steps out.
She's supposed to bring good luck and prosperity. She's a very pure being.
This is a good view of the town. I'm standing on the bridge across the river. At the moment, I can't remember the name of the river. You can see the buildings. They look nice from afar, but they're not in really good shape. Here's the river. You can see the hills outside of Kathmandu. They're not very high. There were a bunch of people down here resting. Now I'm looking on the other side of the river.
These are prayer wheels. Here we are at some prayer wheels. These are Tibetan prayer wheels. And Abba's making some heavy praying now. these wheels have Tibetan Sanskrit letters on them, and you're supposed to turn them clockwise. So where is it? Like this. And this is also called Monkey Temple, and here you see the reason why. There we go.
Wait, guys, I want a picture.
There's some cute monkeys. Oh, not a very good photographer. Here's some very colorful people.
We'll see somewhere in there.
Got some more people or monkeys? Abba's now entering a room with a big, giant prayer wheel. The prayer wheel is so big that I can't start to photograph it. These are candles. There's the king and queen. To the left, the Dalai Lama.
We saw you.
This is the entrance to the Monkey Temple, and that's of course Lord Buddha. And there's just loads of steps we have to go up. All we have to do is climb these steps. That's not so bad, there's only a few hundred steps. Could be thousands.
You want me to climb up all those steps?
Could be worse.
Harold wants me to climb up all of those steps. That's to get in shape for the trek we're going to start in a couple of days.
Look what I found here. Somebody's really hungry. Can't get too close because he might grab the video camera. Now, is that steep or what? That's this temple, the stupa. Okay, we're finally at the top. And this is the stupa. Those are Buddha's wise eyes. And the question mark as his nose is a symbol of unity. Now I'm taking a picture of the whole valley. This is Kathmandu Valley, and it's surrounded by mountains. And there's a belief that Lord Shiva struck with his sword into the mountains and cut a great sliver so the water could run out. Because Kathmandu used to be a big giant lake before. And the black and white here on the monitor doesn't show very well. But I bet it's really gorgeous.
Ringing the bell for Harold and his Abba.
That's for luck.
Oh, yeah?
Not too many skyscrapers. Abba's gonna ring the bell for good luck. Ta-da! Alright! He's gonna have a lot of luck. This is a sculpture that's engraved inside the stupa itself. What's interesting, as I move back, is the Star of David on Buddha's show. Anyway, it's supposed to be a symbol of education here. Here's a Nepalese woman praying at the shrine. We go inside with flower petals and all kinds of other junk. Boy, they sure are making a lot of noise. Some of the things that are on sale today. We sure have a variety. Is that enough stuff for tourists or what? Here's some more stupa from a distance. And little shrines. I wonder if this is going to be really interesting at home or not.
We just came down from the monkey shrine. This is at the bottom. And there's a priest over there feeding lots of monkeys. Look at the quantity. The dog wants to get in on the action. There's a monkey looking at the monkeys.
This tree, you know, there is Hindu. I have one small organization, Nepal National Social Welfare Association.
The monkey shrine, it was just a little square, and people on the side are selling things. Not because it's so bad. A aren't so many cars, a lot of motorcycles and bikes. People do get out of the way. You drive here on the left. Kind of a funny feeling. This is just walking down the street. You get a feeling of what it's like. I'm now walking towards the area that has all the restaurants and all the bookshops and all the shops that are selling shirts and pants and trekking stuff and everything. There's a lot of these three-wheeled vehicles that are bicycle powered. That one just went by is, of course, motor powered. Lots of people on motorcycles with more than one passenger. I'm walking again now, so you get a feel of it. This is a typical kind of shop that they have with all the stuff outside, and there's another one down there. They really do have some nice junk. We're waiting at the airport at Kathmandu. This is our plane. It's going to take us to Pokhara in a little while. We're very late now. And I met a very nice young Japanese girl, and we've been having a nice conversation while it's going on. So that's helped the time go faster. And this is the plane again. We're going to take off an hour late, and it should be about a 45-minute flight to Pokhara. Harold's already gone by bus this morning, so I'm sure he'll beat me there.
We arrived in Pokhara last evening.
Nice to have breakfast under these mountains.
And we're sitting, our lodge is close to the lake, and right now we're sitting at a restaurant right by the lakefront in a beautiful garden, waiting to have breakfast. We also had dinner here last night. It was very, very nice. And off in the distance, guess I'll zoom in. You can see the peaks of Annapurna. Not the highest peaks of Annapurna. The peaks. That's called Fishtail. And we think it still hasn't been climbed yet. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here's the lake. You can see those animals walking around eating. Here's the water buffalo, or yak, which I guess is the same thing. Beautiful little lake. Not very big, but it's beautiful. We just had a nice leisurely breakfast at a cute little restaurant sitting right along the water on a beautiful grass lawn. Had a nice conversation with 3 Dutch people. We rented a boat and we're out on the lake at Pokhara, whose name I don't know. And I have a great Nepalese oarman, and he is in the back rowing the oar like crazy, and he's charging me 20 rupees an hour which is 40 cents American. And there in the back you can see the mountains, somewhat covered up with clouds at the moment. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. And we're rowing out to a little
Did you tell them about the Pokhara Lake monster?
island in the middle of the lake, which isn't very big. And Harold tells me there is a Pokhara lake monster here that sometimes comes out and eats tourists up, especially the females. So I don't have to worry too much. Maybe it's related to the Loch Ness monster. Lovely, lovely, beautiful sunny day. Quite clear except for little clouds up at the high peaks of the mountains. Mountains are just gorgeous. After that nice boat ride, we went into town and we rented 2 mountain bikes. And some of the brakes even work. And the gears shift kind of. Mine better than Harold's. We've driven around the lake to the other side. We stopped at a place and had a cold drink, and here we're going to see Devil's Falls, which I think maybe are bigger than Niagara, but I maybe am mistaken. This is the giant Devil's Falls, and looking down into kind of a giant canyon. It's really quite pretty. You can see the falls through the trees. They're not giant. That's so nice. After this, I'll go up to this little hill on my right, which isn't very high. This is a little different view of it. Very pretty here. Straight over there is where we were this morning out on the lake. Now we're walking up from the falls a little bit. Very pretty stream. This is a nice little field I stopped. That looks like a banana tree. There's a very nice little house. Very rustic and typical of this area. There's a very interesting and unique Nepalese goat herder, not able to hold still, eating his lunch of frozen mango. It's not clear in my viewfinder. I hope it comes out clear in the picture. See this little stream rushing by. They're like some of the canyons we saw in Canada, but not quite as big. This is the morning that we're going to be starting on our trek. Our guide has shown up. His English isn't as good as it should be. This is a street in Pokhara. And up in the distance you can see fishtail. This is in the other direction. You can see what a local bus looks like, barely. The local buses are funny, of course, because there are millions of people in them, hanging out on top, all over. And this is a picture of what our inn looks like here. It's not bad. Room was clean. Little problem with ants. And there's its name, the Silvery Mount Guest House. This is Sveti, where we're going to be starting our trek. We took a taxi from Pokhara. Other people are getting ready here. And soon we'll be walking down the road. You can't see the mountains from here, but along the way, behind these hills here, you can see the snow-capped peaks of the Annapurna Range. You couldn't see Annapurna
but it was very beautiful. This is really the start of the trek. We walked out of Fedi for a short distance, and now there's Harold and the border. We're starting up this steep hill. We have to climb all the way up to the top of that. The first part of this climb is very, very steep. I'm looking across the other side of the valley. Beautiful terraced hills. And now I'm looking along the river from Fedi back to Pokhara. Very, very pretty. This is the ridge going into the first town we're going to come to, Dampus. We've probably climbed up 400 or 500 meters from the valley floor. Very steep. Most of the way was steps made out of stones put in the earth, except for one little stretch. Went by quaint little houses and rice fields. Judith, it's been a very hard climb. Good thing you didn't come, lady. I'm huffing and puffing. These old legs of mine are not like Harold's. Walking through the village of Dampus after we had a nice lunch. We're at an altitude of about 1,700 feet, going up slightly. There's lots of clouds up in the mountains, but it's a very beautiful valley. The village is built on the side of a hill. Very, very pretty. Beautiful, beautiful valley. And if you look straight down where I'm panning now, that's where we came from, I guess about 3 hours ago. It's been a long, hard climb up to Dampus, but now it's leveled out. Walking through the village is very, very nice. Gorgeous, gorgeous hillside with beautiful, beautiful houses. And here's the path that we're walking down. You can see this stone wall here. I'm sure it's very, very old. Look, it's built stone after stone after stone. I think there's dirt in between and little plants and things growing out of it. We'll be continuing up the path through that forest over there and up to that village up there. Very important expedition is coming down the mountain, loaded with all kinds of exotic things of every imaginable size and shape.
Rocks.
Actually,
They have rocks.
those containers are full of slabs of some kind of rock. I don't know if that's ballast or that's actually a product, that they're going to use for something. Here you can see, look. See?
These are some nice rice terraces. And it's a lot of work to make a rice terrace because you have to level it off and close it by wall and make it conceal water. And when they want to let it dry, they let out the water. And then they cut it down and they process it into eating rice.
The area over here on my left, well, straight ahead, is so lush with mosses and ferns and little flowers and trees. It almost looks like it's on the edge of a rainforest. And here is a rainforest inhabitant. Very wild, ferocious animal. But I think I'll tame him. We're going to the village of Tolka, and we're approaching the altitude of 2,000 feet. My digital watch says 950, and we're starting to get into clouds. It's not a clear day, and I don't know if you can see it in this picture, but the clouds are rolling in. A few minutes ago you could see it even better. The wind is blowing from my right, and the clouds are just rolling in. This is a beautiful little forest, all covered with green. Lots and lots of ferns and grasses and trees. And there is Harold, if you didn't know it. Now we're really up in the clouds. We're at 2,010 meters, according to my watch. And we're hearing now that Tolka is 2 hours away. And it's already 3:40. So we're probably going to find some place to stop between here and there within the next half hour if we can. I'm sure there's not going to be much of a view with all these clouds. We're at 2,020 meters now, and you can really see the clouds rolling in. There's the path we'll be walking down. Still through a very nice forested area. Look at this undergrowth. It looks almost like the rainforest that we saw in the Pacific Northwest. And the moss is growing from the trees. Really beautiful. And on this side, lots of ferns, look. This is the lodge we're going to stop at for the first night in Daruli. Not sure how it's pronounced. Because it's too far to go on the Tolka. And it's getting cool. And the clouds are coming in. So we'll check it out. If it's a nice place, we'll stay here.
This is the inn we stayed at the first night. We didn't make it to Tolka since it was getting late. It would have been another half hour. Very simple. We had dinner here. It's on the side of a hill. A very pretty valley. And it's 6:30 in the morning the next day. We're drinking our tea and we're going to eat our chapati, which is a bread, something like taco shell. And then we're going to be off. This is the village of Polka. We walked about a half hour this morning to get here. Nice little walk around the side of the hill. And as we came around the side of the hill, we came out to areas of sun and shade, and to this beautiful view, which without consulting my book, I believe is Annapurna South. Not too high. Again, well, by memory, it's probably 5,500 or 6,000 meters. Very, very beautiful. Enough to turn a guy on for the rest of his life. This is a good example of how they build the huts here. They're all stone, something like slate or shale, very thin pieces, and they put them together and they wedge little things in there to make it straight. And the roofs, this is our porter, and the roofs, I don't know if you can see it, are also made of slate. This is the inn. This is Annapurna South, like I said back there, but it's higher than I remembered. It's 7,200 meters. That's getting up there pretty damn tall. This is such a beautiful view. I'm now looking at the valley down to the south. There's a little village on the hill where there are growing all kinds of things and terraces. And as I sweep around to the west, you can see the hills. Everything is so lush and green here. This morning we walked through a forest that was just gorgeous. Here's another view again of Annapurna South. And yesterday it all clouded up, so today we hope that we'll be able to see yet another mountains even longer. What a view. The hillside has a number of houses and they terraced it off to grow things. Beautiful, green, luscious. I never expected Nepal to be like this. And that's the valley down there. It comes all the way from where we're going to be going up to Annapurna Base Camp. This is the direction we'll be going. The side of the hill here is also covered with beautiful terraced gardens and cute little houses. And there's the peak again. This is the village of Landruk, where we've stopped for breakfast at a nice little inn. Across the way on the mountain is a village where we're not going to go to. We're going to be going straight ahead in this direction, through the village, down a couple hundred meters, and cross the river on what's called New Bridge, because it's newer than the old bridge. Never get tired of looking at Annapurna. As we go around this hill, it's like somewhat after New Bridge, we'll be seeing Fishtail again, which is very beautiful. It's now 10:30 in the morning after a nice breakfast, and we'll continue walking for a while. You can see the clouds are starting to roll in, and I have a feeling the mountain on the right is obscured already, and Annapurna South will be obscured in a while, and we won't be able to see anything. So that's why it's good to get up early in the morning and get out before the clouds form. Stopped at a nice little tea house for lunch. No, just for a break, not for lunch. There's a cute little waterfall. We're walking in the valley along the river. This valley and river lead all the way down from Annapurna. See how the clouds are engulfing the mountain. There isn't much of it to see anymore. Just a little bit here and there. But still, this is the famous New Bridge. New Bridge means built in 1975, if I remember correctly. And right ahead of us, the big stone buttress on the right-hand side holding one end, and it's crossing over the canyon. Harold is just starting on it. I'll get up close and take some more. I expected it to be a little bit bigger. We cross over and climb up there, which doesn't look like any fun. I'm just holding it in my hand and walking along, so it's jiggling a little. So you get the feeling what it's like to walk across the suspension bridge. Here's the water rushing down. Wouldn't want to come across here in a high wind or during a storm. Lots of fun. Now up the stairs. The at the other end. And here's what it looks like from the other side. Here we are a little bit past the new bridge. Anyway, there's a big, giant tree here. Would any one of you boys and girls know what this tree might be? Is that high or what? Over and out. We decided not to climb all the way up to Chomrong today. We had a hard few 100-meter climb from the river. This is a place called Dada. A couple decent lodges here. We're staying in the bottom right. Second room from the right, number 2. Actually a better room than yesterday. And tomorrow, first thing we have to do is hard 450-meter climb up to the top there. Very fancy eating facilities. A long table underneath kind of an awning. And here's somebody over here. No? This is the valley and the river down there we just came up for. Very hard, but beautiful climb through the trees in this forest. And there's the path we came on. Here's another inn. They're all over the place. You can see in that inn they have a straw roof. That's the way to the hot springs. And our inn has a slate roof. This is just like rivers flowing in Canada or the Pacific Northwest. It has the same color of glacial blue. The water is just pouring down. We walked a 20-minute distance kind of downhill from that grass tea house. And this is a hot spring we're at. It's supposed to be about 40 degrees. And we're going to rest our weary bodies in it. Afterwards, I'll tell you how great it was. Let's look at